Hey guys, Jay here. A little bit of a public service announcement. There's been a lot going on the social media sphere within the lightsaber community lately, with people getting scammed or really just getting bad installs or bad products that they're paying their hard-earned money for. I recently had someone contact me last week. They had gotten a saber that had been installed. They were very unhappy with it. Showed me some pictures and said, "Hey, can you fix this?" I said, "Absolutely." They sent it to me. I was already kind of aware of some of the issues with it from the pictures, but I really wasn't prepared just how bad it was until I started opening it up. It's a Corband K4. I literally took the pommel and the booster section off and started taking a look, and I've pretty much stopped there. I got kind of so angry that I felt like I needed to put together a video here because I've just seen too much of this, and I wanted to make it clear that stuff like this is not representative of the community as a whole. There's a lot of really good, very talented smiths and installers and people who build accessories, people doing sound fonts, things like that, that aren't going to take your money. They're not going to do a crappy job and then block you on Facebook or on their Etsy site or something so you can't communicate with them. They're not going to hold your stuff for a year or until you can't file a PayPal dispute and then never give it to you. I mean, and these are things that have been happening pretty frequently over the last few months, or probably frankly longer than that. But it seems like it's really picked up. Maybe since the end of last year. Anyway, I hadn't heard of the installer that did this. I'm not going to mention them here. Let me just say it that they do sell their services and their products on Etsy, and they do have some products that incorporate 10-watt lasers in them, which right there should be some red flags. It's not a very safe thing to do, especially when you're talking about something that kids can play with, or people aren't really going to necessarily know safety precautions to use with a device like that. Anyway, to get onto this thing, so like I said, this was a K4. I'm just gonna hold this up. Just this right here, I mean, should speak for itself. My client that's having me fix this paid about $1,000 for this. This is the crystal chamber, and this thing is, I mean, this thing's not worth a couple dollars. It's horrendous. It's literally just, I mean, this almost looks like the plastic insert that goes into the old Master Replica String Blade FX sabers that you'd find in there. It's just this very flimsy. I mean, it might even very well be that. This piece here has been wrapped in Mylar tape, so it kind of looks a little better, and this thing is literally held together by hot glue and tape. Nano Biscotti V4 in here. I mean, it's entirely possible to build a $1,000 saber with a Nano Biscotti in it. This isn't one of those. You can just this. I mean, there's no chassis. This thing was just, I mean, crammed in here. I have no idea what most of this wiring is. Half of it has already been pulled out. I think the speaker had fallen off already. There is a couple of holes in the plastic, looks like, to run some wires down through this crystal chamber to get at a speaker that may have been sticking out in the end. Another fun thing is, I don't know if this, I mean, where's the LED? I don't know, maybe it's in here. I have no idea. I got to crack this thing open and start. Like I said, I started pulling this apart, and it was 10 times worse than I thought it was going to be from the original pictures that I got. This would be completely unacceptable if somebody did this for free. You don't build something like this and send it to somebody else. I could understand if you were starting out learning how to install something, or maybe it was your own personal saber that you're just screwing around with. Maybe you cut some corners here and there or something. But this is not something that you should ever send out to somebody, especially not somebody that's paying you money and good money for it. So I mean, this just boggles my mind. A K4 for me without a crystal chamber starts at about $550. That includes the hilt. It goes up from there if depending on what you want to add in there. But just to give you an idea of kind of how the price gouging there. I mean, this is not a real, functional display crystal chamber. So I mean, this saber is not worth anywhere near, it's barely worth the parts that are in it. This spaghetti mess in here is just ungodly. This makes an Ultra Saber's install almost look like a Martin Beyer chassis, frankly. It's just, it's ridiculous. You don't, the Core Band Parks products are designed to be a lightsaber. There's very few modifications you ever really need to do to them. Sure, there's little things you can do in here to boost the accuracy on them, but you don't need to drill a hole in the bottom and put in a 12 millimeter offset recharge port. That just looks absolutely horrendous when there are readily available, really good chassis systems. Guthrie Designs has them. Slide Tools has them. I think Dimitri Stock has some as well, specifically for this saber. Those are this type of build quality should never go out the door to someone. I'm going to fix this up and build it right, and I'll do a kind of a before and after with some pictures and things. But I just had to get this off my chest. As I've seen just yesterday, there's a guy in the UK that had gotten, basically a crappy install like this from, fairly well known. We'll call him notorious installer at this point. And I actually I got so fed up I offered to fix it for him for free. Fortunately, he found somebody in the UK, so we didn't have to pay an arm and leg for shipping to do it as well. But just this kind of stuff going on, guys. Like if you're an up and coming installer, or even guys, even if you've been doing this for years, I've only been building for a couple years. I know a good install when I see one, though. This isn't one. So whether you're up and coming, you've been doing this for 20 years, not that these have been around for 20 years, but this is unacceptable. You don't build something like this and have somebody pay for it. You just don't. Anyway, that's my rant. And I don't know. Good luck out there. And again, for those of you people that are looking for an install, whoever you go with, me, somebody else, doesn't matter. There's some really good, talented folks out there that really have a passion for this hobby that would never send you something like this. Do your research, do your homework. There's a lot of really great folks out there that, unfortunately, I think some of these we'll call them shadier elements seem to be overshadowing right now. But anyway, if you're out there looking to get an install or get a saber, do some homework first. Don't just buy the first thing you see off Etsy or ad that pops up on Facebook or something. Join some groups, join some forums, look around, ask questions. Like I said, there's a whole lot of us out there that build quality lightsabers, other props as well, that aren't going to send you something like this. All right, thanks for listening, guys.